In the land of the dead, a man is standing in water up to his chin, dying of thirst. Every time he bends to drink, the water drains away. Above him hang ripe fruit, and every time he reaches, the wind lifts them out of reach. His name is Tantalus, and this is forever. Nearby, another man rolls a boulder up a hill. Every time he nears the top, it rolls back down. And watching them, alive, standing among the dead, is a man who has been trying to get home for 10 years. His name is Odysseus. This scene is in Homer's Odyssey, Book 11, and it is the key to the whole poem, because Odysseus is looking at his own punishment and does not know it yet. Start at the beginning. Troy has fallen. The war is over, and the Greek ships turn for home. From Troy to Odysseus's island, Ithaca, is a voyage of a few weeks. Other kings were home within the season. It took him 10 years. 10 years for a few weeks of sailing. That gap is the actual subject of the story, not the monsters. The monsters are just how the gap is filled. The first stop is almost gentle. They land among the lotus eaters, whose food makes a man forget his home and want nothing but to stay. Odysseus drags his weeping crew back to the ships and ties them down. The first danger of the journey is not death. It is forgetting that you were going somewhere. Then they land on the island of the Cyclopes, and Odysseus does something he did not have to do. He goes looking, out of curiosity, for whoever lives in the cave. The cave belongs to Polyphemus, a one-eyed giant and a son of Poseidon. He rolls a stone across the entrance and begins eating the men, 2 at a time. Odysseus cannot fight him. Only the giant can move the stone. So he uses the only weapon he has ever really had. He lies. Asked his name, he answers, nobody. Then he gets the giant drunk and drives a sharpened stake into his single eye while he sleeps. The giant roars for help. The other Cyclopes come running and shout through the door, "Who is hurting you?" And he answers, "Nobody is hurting me." So they go away. Odysseus survives by being no one. Remember that. It is going to matter more than anything else in this story. They escape under the bellies of the giant's sheep, reach the ships, and are safely away. And then Odysseus cannot help himself. He stands on the deck and shouts back his real name. If anyone asks who blinded you, say it was Odysseus, son of Laertes, lord of Ithaca. Which is exactly what the giant needed. He lifts his blind face and prays to his father Poseidon. Let this man come home late, alone, on a stranger's ship, and find trouble waiting. That prayer is the 10 years. Not the storm, not the monsters, the moment a man could not resist saying his own name out loud. What follows is a series of near misses so precise they stop looking like bad luck. The wind god gives him a bag containing every wind except the one blowing him home. For 9 days he steers, never sleeping, and Ithaca comes into sight. He can see the fires on the shore. Then he falls asleep, and his crew, certain the bag is full of treasure he is hiding from them, open it. Every wind bursts out at once and blows them all the way back. He wakes up exactly where he started. This is the single most important scene in the poem. Because look at the shape of it. He reaches the top of the hill, and the boulder rolls back down. He bends to the water, and the water drains away. Odysseus is living the punishment of Tantalus. He simply has not been told that yet. It keeps happening. Cannibal giants sink 11 of his 12 ships. The witch Circe turns his men into pigs, and he stays with her a full year. A year, not held prisoner, comfortable. His men finally have to go to him and remind him that they were supposed to be going home. And it is Circe who tells him the way home runs through the land of the dead. He has to go down and ask a dead prophet for directions. So he sails to the edge of the world, digs a pit, and the dead come up to him. And this is where the poem shows him the catalog. He sees Tydeus, stretched out over 9 acres, with 2 vultures at his liver, forever. His crime was assaulting a goddess. He sees Tantalus in the water he cannot drink. His crime, he was invited to eat with the gods, and he stole from their table, and worse. He sees Sisyphus and his boulder. His crime was cleverness. He tricked the gods, he cheated death itself, and he was proud of it. Look at what these 3 have in common. Not murder, not cruelty. Every one of them got too close to the gods, and then acted as though he were their equal. And look at the shape of the punishments. None of them is pain, exactly. Each one is arriving, over and over, and never quite getting there. Which is the exact shape of Odysseus's 10 years. He is not being tortured. He is being kept just short of home, again and again, by his own crew and his own choices. In the same underworld, he meets Achilles, the greatest warrior of the age, who won eternal glory by dying young at Troy. And Achilles tells him, "Do not console me about death. I would rather be a hired farmhand for a landless man, alive, than king over all the dead." The greatest name in Greek poetry says his name was not worth it. Odysseus, who nearly died for shouting his own name, is standing right there listening. He comes back up and the near misses continue. He has himself tied to the mast to hear the sirens and survive them. He threads the strait between Scylla and Charybdis and loses 6 men to save the rest, a choice he makes knowingly and never stops carrying. Then they land on the island of the sun god, and Odysseus makes his men swear not to touch the cattle grazing there. They swear. Then the wind pins them there for a month. The food runs out, and while Odysseus is asleep, again, his starving crew kill the cattle and eat. Zeus destroys the ship with a thunderbolt. Every single man drowns except Odysseus, who survives by clinging to a piece of wreckage. He set out from Troy with 12 ships. He now has none, and not one companion. Whatever he is going home to, he is going alone. He washes up on Calypso's island, and she keeps him there for 7 years. 7 of the 10. She offers to make him immortal if he stays. That is the offer the punished men in the underworld would have killed for, to be like a god. And it is exactly what he refuses. He sits on the shore of a paradise, offered eternal life by a goddess, and weeps because he wants to go back to a rocky little island and an aging wife. That refusal is the hinge of the whole poem. Tantalus and Sisyphus wanted to be more than men. Odysseus is offered it and asks to be less. The gods finally let him go. He reaches Ithaca, and then does the strangest thing of all. He does not announce himself. Athena disguises him as an old beggar. He walks into his own palace in rags and is insulted, mocked, and struck by the men eating his food. The man who could not resist shouting his name at a giant now stands in his own hall and says nothing while strangers spit on him. That is the whole distance he has traveled, not from Troy to Ithaca, from Odysseus to nobody, and back again on his own terms. Only when the moment comes does he take up his old bow, the one no other man can string and shoot and take back his house. Even then his wife will not accept him. Penelope tests him with a lie about their bed, and he fails to stay calm, because that bed is carved from a living tree rooted in the ground. That is how she knows him, not by his face, not by his name, by the one thing in the world he could not bear to imagine being moved. So why did it take 10 years? Because the poem is not a travel story. It is the punishment myths applied to a living man and then allowed to end. Tantalus reaches and the water goes. Sisyphus climbs and the stone falls. Odysseus sights Ithaca and the winds burst out of the bag. The difference is not that he was cleverer. Sisyphus was clever, and that is precisely what he is being punished for. The difference is that at the end he was willing to be nobody. He put down the name, walked into his own house as a beggar, and that is when the loop finally let him out. The gods did not keep him at sea for 10 years because he was weak. They kept him there until he had stopped needing to be great.